back here at Fort Morgan High School. They are doing the introductions of the teams right now, and for the Vista Peak Lady Bisons, their starting lineup is Malaya Kennedy, a sophomore. Number 22, Nicole Doherty, also a sophomore. Number 24, Aliyah Carter, also a sophomore. Number 25, Kylie Baker, also a sophomore. And Jaylene Johnson, a freshman. So as we said before, Vista Peak is starting an awfully young crew here tonight. They are 1-8 in league and 2-18 overall. So it's been a long season for Vista Peak, but things will only get brighter in the future as they start getting more classes into the school. And now they're introducing the senior girls tonight. And the senior girls for the Fort Morgan Mustangs is Danielle Gross, a 5'5" senior, Samantha Pettyjohn, Allie Schneider, Sierra Ruppel, Celia Smith, and Alexis Bills. So out of those seniors that are starting, Danielle Gross, Samantha Pettyjohn, Alexis Bills, and Allie Schneider. So this is a very heavy-laden team with seniors this year. So this is the year to get things done right now. It'll be a little not necessarily short on talent next year, but there's only one junior coming back, and that's Samantha Scott. So then they'll have one basically next year, one senior, and the rest will be sophomores. So it'll be a rebuilding year basically for the Mustang girls. And this year is the year to get it done. They know that, like we said before, they will be in the playoffs, and that will begin a week from tonight. We just don't know where or when. So
hopefully good home. Hopefully we'll get a home game.
Yeah, that would be nice to be able to start out at home, get a home round one home game for the Mustang girls. And now I know the one girl that didn't get to play this year, but is a senior, is Devin Lapp, and she would have been a big help. She was a 5'10" girl that would have brought a lot of strength inside on the rebounding and defense. So it looks like they're meeting out here at center court, all the girls giving each other hugs and wishing them good luck. So we're going to get this thing started here.
Well, hopefully we'll have many more games other than this. I know we'll have one Thursday night, but hopefully next week we'll have, starting with Tuesday night, we'll have a few playoff games. So hopefully this won't be the end of the girls.
Correct. As you said, they will play Thursday night at Skyview. The boys will be here against Skyview, and that game can be heard here on B106 and B106.com. In the standings right now for the 4A, 3A Colorado 7 girls standings is Elizabeth at 10-0, Weld Central at 7-3, Fort Morgan at 7-3, Fort Lupton 6-4, Skyview is 3-7, Vista Peak is 1-8, and Englewood is 0-9, and they will take the top 5 teams out of here. So Weld Central, I guess, is 8-3.
Yeah, Fort Morgan 7-3, Fort Lupton 6-5, Skyview 3-7, Vista Peak is 2-8 on the year, in league 3-18 overall for Vista Peak. So as we get ready for the opening tip-off.
And the opening tip is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance with 2 locations in Brush and Fort Morgan. Ingmeyer Phillips can help you with your home, car, health, or life insurance questions or needs. So Fort Morgan, it is Allie Schneider to jump, and she wins the tip to Samantha Pettyjohn. First shot up and no good, and tipped out of bounds by Celia Smits. Smits getting the start tonight. Looks like a all-senior team tonight starting the game.
Well, that'd be good if it's an all senior. I mean, like I say, Vista Peak's 3-18 on the year. 3-18 on the year, so let the seniors have their night, and hopefully we won't have that big of a deficit that we have to start taking the seniors out early.
So now Vista Peak in their end of the court. Ball over to Doherty, now out to Carter, out high at this. Taken away by Allie Schneider. Nice swipe by Allie Schneider. She goes down the left sideline, and they're going to call a blocking foul. And that's going to go against number 24, and that's Carter. That's going to be her first. So Allie Schneider will go to the line.
That was a clean pick for Allie Schneider on Carter, and then getting back and getting the foul on Carter. So it was a double bonus there.
Yeah, that was a nice clean steal. Allie Schneider's first shot is up and no good. So she will get shot number 2 here. 7:23 to go in the first period. Scoreless so far. Allie Schneider with her second shot. And that is up and good. So Fort Morgan with the early 1-0 lead. And now they are.
It's almost a turnover for Vista Peak.
Samantha Pettyjohn knocks the ball out of bounds. So now they do get the ball into the back court, and that is Malaya Kennedy going against Pettyjohn. Pettyjohn taps the ball away. Now they're going to have a jump ball at center court, or a tie-up, and so that ball will go to Vista Peak as Fort Morgan won the opening tip. So Vista Peak gets it into Nicole Doherty, a sophomore. That ball was bounced off of Allie Schneider and out of bounds, called a kick. So now Aliyah Carter to inbounds the ball. Allie Schneider up close in her face, giving her a little problem. They do get the ball in to Nicole Doherty. Doherty back over to Kennedy. Kennedy out high. She tries to drive down the left side. Now she gets it over to Carter. Carter's shot is up and over the rim. Rebounded to Allie Schneider. Now to Danielle Gross, to Alexis Bills in the lane. Her shot up and no good. Rebounded though by her, gets her own rebound and goes up strong with it. So that's 2 for Bills. 3-0 Fort Morgan with 6:29 to go in the first period. So Vista Peak now in the front court. Gets it off to Carter. Carter's being hounded by Schneider. Carter's shot is up and no good. Going to be rebounded to Danielle Gross. Down court, going to be thrown away by Danielle Gross. Tried to get it to Schneider down court, just a little over her head. Now Vista Peak with the ball. Kennedy, there's going to be a reach-in foul, and that will go against Pettyjohn. So that's her first, team first for Fort Morgan. Ball in now to Nicole Doherty. Doherty down the right side. Now off to Malaya Kennedy. Back out to Carter. Shot up and no good from outside the 3. But Jaylene Johnson tried to save it, but she was out of bounds when she did. So Fort Morgan to inbounds the ball. Now Vista Peak to put on a full court press here. Somewhat of a full court press. They didn't press the gal that they got the ball into. So Allie Schneider up and with her shot down the lane, but up and no good. Rebounded to Johnson. So Vista Peak now with the ball. Bounce it to the elbow to Johnson. Now a little give and go underneath to Kennedy. Her shot is up and no good. Pettyjohn with the rebound. Pettyjohn gets the ball knocked away and out of bounds. Nicole Doherty knocked it out.
Let's just hope Fort Morgan doesn't go down to Vista Peak, and just because they believe that they're 3-18, that they're not very good. And you can see the rustiness of Vista Peak going on right now, the inexperience. And just hope Fort Morgan doesn't go down to that level tonight.
Don't want to play down. So now Danielle Gross, she gives it off to Allie Schneider out on the right wing. Allie Schneider drives into the middle, and then she gives it in to Alexis Bills. Alexis Bills misses, but Danielle Gross picks up the shot and puts it in. 5-0 Fort Morgan with 4:53 to go in the first period. Vista Peak now in the front court. Malaya Kennedy, she goes up. It was actually Nicole Doherty with the three, but it was no good. And now rebounded to Celia Smits. So Celia Smits now to Alexis Bills. Bills for a three, but no good. Rebounded to was taken by Pettyjohn, then knocked out to Smits, then over to Allie Schneider. The Schneider can't control it, knocks it over and off of Celia Smits and out of bounds. So now Smits will come out and Lauren Staley will come in. Lauren Staley is a 5'7" sophomore. So now Vista Peak, Fort Morgan with the full court pressure. With Malaya Kennedy bringing the ball up. She does get it past half court, past Pettyjohn. Now to Johnson. Johnson out to Doherty. Now a three, but that was blocked by Pettyjohn. Now back out to Kennedy out high. She dribbles off and runs into her own player, Leah Carter. They're going to call a foul on Fort Morgan. And that's going to go against Staley.
Be her first.
Her first and Fort Morgan's second. So Vista Peak inbounds to the left of their basket. Shot up and no good by Doherty. Rebounded to Danielle Gross. Now to Schneider. Schneider going down the left side, going down the left side of the lane, and they're going to call her for a travel. So that'll be a turnover to Vista Peak. So Fort Morgan with the full court press. Ball is going to be, thought it was going to be stolen, but just off of Pettyjohn's hands and into the hands of Kennedy. Still in the back court. They do get it across half court now. Kennedy does have it out about the jump circle, being guarded by Pettyjohn. She's about 6 feet away from her. Now have a 25 into the game. That is Kylie Baker. Now to Johnson. That ball is tipped now. It's going to be over on the far court. Nicole Doherty shot up and no good. Pass back out to Carter. Her shot up no good. Lauren Staley with the nice strong rebound. Allie Schneider with the baseball pass down court to Danielle Gross, but Gross is fouled on the layup. I believe that's going to go against number 22. Yes, that's going to go against 22, Doherty. But Danielle Gross to the line to shoot two.
That's Doherty's first foul.
So first shot by Danielle is no good. Stubbs Gas and Oil is located at I-76 and Highway 39 in Wiggins. Don't delay and get there today to see why convenience is Stubbs' middle name. So now Schneider and Pettyjohn come out. Samantha Scott and Christina Frick into the game for the Mustangs. Second shot also no good, but rebounded to Staley. Staley tries to go up. They don't call a foul on the shot underneath, so it's 5-0 still Fort Morgan with 2:50 to go in the first period. Nice steal by Alexis Bills, but she loses control of it. She was saying it was knocked out by Doherty, but the ref didn't see it that way. So Vista Peak the inbounds on the far side. They get it in to Elia Carter. Now back out to Kennedy. Kennedy off to Carter. Carter being guarded by Staley into the lane. Carter's shot is up and no good. But Carter is going to go to the line. They're going to call a foul. And that foul is going to go against Staley. That's going to be her second. So to the line will be Carter to shoot two.
Yeah, they've been letting them do hand checks, and then now they just started calling hand checks on both ends.
So now Carter with her first shot is going to be short off the front of the rim. Ackley Building Center, your one-stop center for projects around your home, office, or yard, and they now carry appliances. Ackley Building Center located at 1402 Mill Street in Brush. So now we have some wholesale changes here by Vista Peak.
Looks like Johnston and Youngham came in.
So second shot is up and good. for Carter. So she puts up the first point for Vista Peak, 5-1, 2:35 to go in the first period.
Looks like Staley's going to take a little breather for the Mustangs.
Allie Schneider back into the game. So Fort Morgan needing to get these shots to fall. Nice pass into to Bills, and then knocked back out to Schneider. Pass over to the left to Danielle Gross. Now Schneider from the left for a three, and that's nothing but the bottom of the net.
Good
for
shot
Schneider.
by Schneider.
8-1 now with 2:05 to go in the first period. Fort Morgan still with the full court pressure down to Johnson on the right wing. Now back out to Carter. Carter to Kennedy out high. Now she tries to drive down the right wing. She hands off to Johnston. Johnston, her shot is going to be up and blocked. But Vista Peak recovers. Ball was loose for a minute. Now ball out to Johnston out high, being guarded by Danielle Gross. Now the ball is going to be a jump. Let's see if they're going to call a jump ball, so that should go to Fort Morgan. So a minute 33 to go in the first period, 8-1.
Good job by Gross to tie that ball up to get the ball for Fort Morgan Mustangs.
Went down on the ground. So now Bills and Danielle Gross are out. Staley out. We have Celia Smiths in. Let's see, Pettyjohn came back in. So now pass underneath to Schneider, and her shot is up and rims out. Last touch by Schneider, so that'll go to Vista Peak.
Went all the way around the rim, just didn't go in the rim.
So now we have Celia Smiths, Christina Frick, Allie Schneider, Samantha Pettyjohn, and Samantha Scott on the floor for the Mustangs. So now a nice steal by Allie Schneider. Now they're going to call a foul against Vista Peak, I believe, and that's going to go against number 14, and that will be Kennedy. That will be her first. That will be the team's third foul. So team fouls are even at 3.
That's a good hustle by Schneider.
So now pass over the head of Schneider into the lane, taken by Vista Peak. Now there's going to be a layup here, and that is up and good by Johnson.
It's her first points of the game.
8-3 with 50 seconds to go in the first period. Pettyjohn's pass is knocked out of bounds. They're getting a little sloppy here with their passes.
I should have said that was the first field goal for the Bison in the game for Johnson.
So now Celia Smith's the inbound. She gets it into Allie Schneider in the right corner. She sets up for a three, and that is good for Schneider. One from the left, one from the right. 11-3 with 35 seconds to go in the first period. Vista Peak gets it down court. Carter now over to Kennedy. Kennedy over to Johnston. Back to Kennedy. Out high. She's being guarded by Pettyjohn. Now Carter comes around. Kennedy to Carter. Now over to Johnston on the right wing. She drives the lane and goes down. Nothing is called. They go down for the tie-up, and that will go back to Vista Peak with 11.7 seconds to go in the first period. Fort Morgan 11, the Bison 3. Now Kennedy, she tries a three, but that is no good. Now a shot is up and no good by Jungheim. They're going to call a foul.
Looks like they're going to get Staley probably with the foul.
They're going to call Smiths with the foul, it looks like. So with 3.8 seconds to go in the first period, we have a two-shot foul, and that shot is up and no good. And I believe that is Johnson that is at the line. Her first shot was no good. Second shot is up and good for Johnson. So that's 3 points on the night for her. Now the ball in, but taken away by Vista Peak with 1 second to go. Her shot is up and no good. So at the end of one, it's the Lady Mustangs 11, the Lady Bison 4. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, the Lady Mustangs 11, the Lady Bison 4 at the start of the second period. Lady Mustangs will take control of the ball to start the period. Allie Schneider to inbounds to Pettyjohn. Pettyjohn in the back court, now crosses the front court. Pettyjohn keeps the dribble alive, now over to Danielle Gross. Now pass underneath, nice pass underneath Allie Schneider, but she can't get it to go down. Now the ball will be, goes out of bounds, but they said it was knocked out by Vista Peak. Nice play they had there underneath the basket, and you just couldn't get the ball to go in.
That was a good pass to Snyder. Just couldn't make the connection.
So ball into Alexis Bills. Bills now out to Schneider. They're going to call Schneider for the travel. So that'd be a turnover by the Mustangs.
Yeah, they got to start watching the turnovers a little bit. They had 5 in the first period compared to 1 for the Bison.
So Vista Peak now with the ball. That looks like Nicole Doherty bringing the ball up. She gets it over to Carter. Carter in the corner being guarded by Schneider. Now back out to Doherty. Doherty over to Johnston. Johnston back to Carter. Kind of the weave out here at the top. Shot is up and no good by Carter. But Christina Frick with a nice strong rebound. And that will be a foul against Vista Peak. And that's going to go against number 23, Jungheim.
That'll be her first.
So Fort Morgan now with the ball. Pettyjohn gets the ball across half court. Over to Alexis Bills on the right wing. Back out to Pettyjohn, now cross court, and that was almost stolen. They called a travel on
Gross.
Danielle Gross. I didn't see that, but
I just seen her pivot and kind of get the ball away from the steal, but they called it for a walk.
So now Vista Peak with the ball in the backcourt being guarded by Danielle Gross. Ball is going to be out of bounds. Nice pressure out there on the pass. Had to throw the pass quite high to get over the top of Allie Schneider. They ended up throwing it out of bounds. So now Lauren Staley back into the game and Christina Frick to come out for a little breather. Fort Morgan still leading 11-4. Pretty low scoring game here in the second period. Now over to Danielle Gross on the left wing, back out to Alexis Bill. She drives into the key. Her shot is up and in and out, rebounded by Carter for the Bison. Now the ball is out of bounds off of Allie Schneider's leg. So the ball will go to the Bison just to the left of the Mustang basket. Ball in now to Doherty. Doherty bringing it up by Gross. Now the ball, it's going to be a foul on Allie Schneider.
She couldn't just stop the momentum.
She got going, and the other girl had already stopped, and she just kind of knocked her over and fell over on top of her.
That was a pretty easy call for the refs.
So now Kennedy back into the game. And Carter to exit now. Pass inbounds to Kennedy. Kennedy backs out. Now over to Johnston. Johnson takes it around. She goes down to the right side of the lane. Pass over into the corner, back over to Johnson. Johnson out to Johnston. Now the ball is going to be kicked by Samantha Pettyjohn out of bounds. So the ball stays with the Bison. 11-4 with 6:08 to go in the second period. Johnston now out high, guarded by Lauren Staley. Pass over to Kennedy. They're going to call a foul on Schneider, I believe. That's going to be 2 on her. That's 16 fouls against Fort Morgan, 4 on the Bison. The Bison with the ball inbounds. Doherty, nice little give and go for the Bison, but the ball is taken away by Lauren Staley, but they're going to call a foul. I believe that's going to go on Johnston. That's her first also. So team fouls, Fort Morgan 6, Bison 5. Had more fouls than have had points here in the second period. So now ball over to Alexis Bills on the right wing. Her little jumper is up and no good. Rebounded by Johnson. Now the ball down court is going to be taken over to Baker, and Baker's shot is up and good. So now it's 11-6. Fort Morgan with the lead with 5:18 to go in the second period. Allie Schneider down in the right corner. Now her pass over to Samantha Pettyjohn. They're going to call a blocking foul on Vista Peak. And that is going to go against number 10. That is her second against Johnston. So that will be even up the team fouls at 6. So Fort Morgan inbounds left of their basket.
Fort Morgan looks like they're pressing the ball a little more. Vista Peak's just kind of taking opportunity and passing the ball around.
So now ball, let's see what they call it. Apparently off of Danielle Gross. She must have been standing out of bounds. So that'll be a turnover by Fort Morgan to Vista Peak. So Fort Morgan 2 inbounds against the pressure defense. And that caused the turnover. That was a good pressure by Lauren Staley. So Fort Morgan to get the ball in their front court.
Yeah, she got Doherty all confused where she wanted to pass, and she kind of started running with the ball instead, getting rid of it.
So Lauren Staley on the far sideline to inbounds. She gets it into Alexis Bills in the left corner. Now Alexis Bills puts one up, and that is good for Bills. Fort Morgan finally gets on the scoreboard here in the second period. Now Vista Peak with the ball. Kennedy keeps the dribble alive. She passes it into Baker. Baker back now to Kennedy. Kennedy down the lane. Her shot is going to be up and off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Pettyjohn for the Mustangs. Now ball down court, and then it's going to go through the hands of Lauren Staley. And out of bounds. Another turnover by Fort Morgan. So 13-6. In favor of the Mustangs with 4:28 to go in the second period.
Halfway through the second period, and each team's only got 2 points.
So ball over in the corner, three-pointer up and no good. And that was by Doherty, and apparently they called Fort Morgan knocking the ball out of bounds. So the ball will stay with the Bison at their end. Inbounding to the right of their basket. Now out to Kennedy. Kennedy's guarded by Pettyjohn. Now over to Johnson out at the right elbow. Her shot is up and no good. Rebounded to Pettyjohn. Pettyjohn down the right wing. She loses the dribble, but to Allie Schneider. Now Allie Schneider, her pass over to Alexis Bills. Alexis Bills' shot is up and no good. Now she gets the rebound in the far corner. Now the ball over to Lauren Staley. Lauren Staley's pass down to Danielle Gross. Her shot is over the rim, but rebounded by Pettyjohn. Now Pettyjohn back out to Allie Schneider. Schneider's three is up and no good off the back of the rim, but she gets her own rebound. Now her shot, she passes underneath to Lauren Staley. And Staley puts it up and in for the 2. So we have a 30-second timeout here. It's going to be taken by Vista Peak. So we'll have a couple of sponsor messages here. Valley View Villa. Look to the team at Valley View for rehab, short-term, or long-term care needs. Stop by 815 Fremont or call them today, 867-8261. B&B Appliance at 502 Ensign in Fort Morgan can help you save water, energy, and the environment without sacrificing quality and performance. Change for the better with B&B Appliance. Platte Valley Hearing Center. You don't have to travel out of town to receive the best and most advanced hearing health care. Visit Platte Valley Hearing Center located at 409 East Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan.
And the Mustangs need to pick it up a little bit. Only 15-6, and we got 3:30 left in the second period. And Vista Peak, you know, they when they take a shot, they take an open shot, and if they start connecting on these, Fort Morgan will be in trouble.
So now ball down court to Vista Peak, guarded by Pettyjohn in the corner. Now it's going to be taken. Nice steal by Lauren Staley. Lauren Staley down the lane, and her shot is up and no good, but she was fouled hard. She will go to the line to shoot 2, and that will go against Carter. That is her second. So Lauren Staley to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
That was a pretty rough foul.
So kind of Ref's kind of checking with her to make sure that she's okay. She's up and going. Let's see what her first free throw rims out.
I think they were checking to make sure her head didn't bounce off the back of that floor.
So now Celia Smith's in for Allie Schneider. Samantha Scott in for Samantha Pettyjohn. So Coach Kreckemeyer getting a few subs in here. Second shot by Staley is good. So that's 3 points on the night for Staley. 16-6. Finally, Fort Morgan gets a 10-point lead in the game here. Vista Peak gets the ball up court. Now a three-pointer is up and good.
Good shot.
And that was good by Nicole Doherty for a three. So 16-9. Now pass into Alexis Bills. Her shot off the front of the rim. Rebounded by the Bison, and they're coming down court. Her shot is going to be up and no good, but they're going to call a foul on Danielle Gross on the layup. So that's Grossie's first free throw.
Sending Kennedy to the line.
Kennedy to shoot two. With 2:44 to go in the second period. Shot is up and off the front of the rim. Equitable Savings and Loan, Northeast Colorado's locally owned hometown savings and loan in Fort Morgan and Brush. So the second shot for Kennedy with 2:44 to go in the second period. Her shot is up and no good. Rebounded, taken by number 25, and that was Baker, but she loses it out of bounds off of her leg. So now Fort Morgan with the ball inbounds. Danielle Gross takes the ball across half court now over to Celia Smith on the left wing. Nice little pass into the inside, but the shot is missed by Samantha Scott. Now Alexis Bills for a three. That is up and no good. Rebounded by the Bison. Stolen back by Celia Smith. Now to Danielle Gross with 2:17 to go in the second period. 16-9 in favor of the Mustangs. Now Lauren Staley with a nice drive into the lane, but her pass to Danielle Gross is off of her hands. That was a plenty hard pass, and I don't think Danielle was expecting that hard a pass, and it goes out of bounds. So Vista Peak with the ball, still feeling that they're in this game, which they are, only down by 7. Ball three is up and no good, but rebounded by Vista Peak. Vista Peak's next shot is up and no good by Baker. Rebounded by Staley. Taken by Alexis Bills. Now they're going to call a foul, and that's going to go against number 22, Doherty. That'll be her second. So Fort Morgan will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. And I believe that will be Alexis Bills that will go to the line. See if she can make her first shot. Northern Colorado Title. You don't have to close on your house alone. Northern Colorado Title at 130 West Kiowa in Fort Morgan will provide you with a stress-free closing. So the first shot is up and good by Bills. So that will earn her a second shot. 8 team fouls on the Bison, 7 on Fort Morgan, 17-9 now in favor of the Mustangs. Second shot up and bounces in. Nice little shooter's touch there.
Vista Peak is making the Mustangs work for every basket they're getting, that's for sure.
So 18-9 now with 1:44 to go in the second period. Fort Morgan with the full court press, but they're getting it down court, and that's going to be a layup, and that's going to be up and good by number 20, Shelby Paul. Her first 2 points of the game, so 18-11 in favor of Fort Morgan. We'll see if they back out of that press. Now that was a double dribble by Samantha Scott. So turnover by Fort Morgan. The turnovers are adding up for the Mustangs tonight. They have 10 so far in the first half compared to just 6 for Vista Peak.
And they're pretty much careless turnovers, just fundamental turnovers.
So now a steal by Smits. Nice steal by Smits to reach around and knock that ball loose. Now to Allie Schneider, who has come back into the game. Schneider down the lane, pass over to Christina Frick off to the right side, and that shot is up and good by Frick. Nice little 6-footer there by Frick. Now Vista Peak, Fort Morgan does back off on the press. Kennedy with the ball. Now she gets it off to Alicia Roan. Now they're going to call a travel. Nice pressure by Frick on Roan for the turnover. So now 48.9 seconds to go in the first half. Fort Morgan 20, the Bison 11. So Samantha Pettyjohn gets across half court down on the right wing. Now over to Samantha Scott. Knocked out of bounds by Scott. I guess are they going to
call a foul?
Call a foul.
Foul on Frick.
They called a foul on Frick. That'll be her first.
Looks like she grabbed the arm when Vista Peak was going after the loose ball.
So now to the line for a 1-and-1. Looks like Kennedy. She missed her first 2 attempts earlier. Now the second one is up and good. So she earns another free throw now. So 20-12 in favor of Fort Morgan with 40.1 seconds to go in the second period. So the shot is up and no good. We have a tie-up now, Christina Frick, and that will go over to Vista Peak.
If you let Vista Peak feel like they could get closer and win this game, then Fort Morgan would be in trouble.
So Vista Peak with the ball in bounds to Doherty. Doherty now over to Kennedy with 32 seconds to go in the first half. Now they're going to call a travel. That's going to go against Alicia Roan. So Fort Morgan with a chance here. We'll see if they go for the last shot with 26.8 seconds to go in the first half. Samantha Pettyjohn to get the ball in court, down court. She backs it out. Now they get it into Frick, but that was almost stolen. Allie Schneider throws it away underneath, and now they're going to call a foul. Is that going to be on Schneider? 24, another one on Frick. So that'll be Frick's second. So the Bison back to the line with 14 seconds to go. And to the line will be Baker for a 1-and-1. Alexis Bills in and Christina Frick to take a seat. So nobody in too bad at foul trouble. Schneider, Staley, and Frick each have 2. So now Baker with the first free throw is going to be off the front of the rim and no good. Alexis Bills with the ball. She gets it over to Pettyjohn with 10 seconds to go. Down to Allie Schneider. Schneider down the right baseline. Now she gets it back out to Pettyjohn over to Alexis Bills with 3 seconds. Allie Schneider with a shot from 3, and that's up and good.
At the buzzer.
Ah, nice buzzer beater by Allie Schneider.
It's her third 3 for the night
her
so
first 3, her first in the second period here. Easy for me to say. Anyway, at halftime, it is the Fort Morgan Lady Mustangs 23, the Lady Bison 12. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School with Bob Richardson, this is Brian Nickel, where the Fort Morgan Lady Mustangs lead 23-12 over the Lady Bison, getting ready to start the second half. And just looking over some of the stats here for the Lady Mustangs, their leading scorer for the year is Allie Schneider. She averages 13.2 points a game, and she is now sitting at 10, so she's on her way to get well over her average. They do average 39 points a game and now at 23, so they're on their way there also as far as points per game. So we'll see here if they come out and handle the ball just a little bit better than what they did in the first half. Now Fort Morgan with the ball. Nice pass into Allie Schneider. That's a way to start it. Schneider with a 2 on a nice little layup there from Pettyjohn. Now back, Fort Morgan back with their press, and Vista Peak gets the ball down court, but it's going to be off the hands of Johnson. So nice pressure defense there by the Mustangs. Create a turnover right after the basket. So 25-12 with 7:40 to go in the third period. Samantha Pettyjohn brings the ball. She gets it over to Lauren Staley out on the right wing. Now under to Schneider. Schneider underneath the Bills. They're going to call a foul Let's see if they give that to
Going to give that to Kennedy, her second.
number 24. Was it? I think they gave it to Carter. That would be Kennedy. They hadn't changed the number yet there, so 2 shots. First foul shot for Alexis Bills is no good. They need to hit their free throws. So Alexis Bills with shot number 2, in and out. So 0 for 2 to start out the second half. Nice hustle play by Schneider, knocks it out of bounds. So Vista Peak inbounds it here just in front of us. Now ball down court to number 25, and that is Kylie Baker. Shot is up and no good, but they're going to call a foul.
Looks like they're going to get Schneider for that foul. If they do, that'll be 3 on her.
And that is 3 on Allie Schneider. So to the line will be Baker to shoot 2, I believe. Her first shot is up and no good off the front of the rim.
That was a bad foul on Schneider. Baker wasn't even in position to really shoot that basket.
So now shot number 2 up and no good also. So now we have a jump ball, so that will go to Vista Peak. So Vista Peak inbounds to the right of their basket. Kylie Baker to inbounds.
Those quick hands by Bills to tie that up.
Almost taken away by the Mustangs. Pass over now to Kennedy. Kennedy brings it out to the top, back over to Carter. Carter with a little runner, but over the rim and no good. Now Schneider with the ball down the right wing, and she gets it to Danielle Gross. Nice little layup by Gross, but she misses it. Rebounded to Vista Peak. Fort Morgan needs to get back. Carter down the left wing. Now her shot up and no good. Baseball pass down court to Allie Schneider. Schneider's shot is up and good from about 3 feet in front of the basket. So 27-12. Now Steele in the back court. Shot up and no good by Pettyjohn. Her rebound is up. Shot up and no good. Rebounded back to the Bison. And now we have Kennedy getting the ball across half court, being guarded by Pettyjohn. Now the ball into Johnson. Johnson back to Kennedy. Kennedy's little shot is up and no good. Shot is blocked by Schneider. She gets the tip ball. Now ball is going to be stolen by taken away by Vista Peak. Bad pass by Schneider. Johnson now with the ball. She's going to throw it away, it looks like. Does go out of bounds, so it will be Fort Morgan ball. I don't know why Vista Peak is standing. Yeah, the refs had it mixed up. They thought it was, one guy thought it was tipped out by Fort Morgan, but it was clearly just a bad pass by Vista Peak. So Allie Schneider gets it in to Pettyjohn. She gets it across half court. Dribbling the ball out there, just keeping the drive. Now she gives it over to Schneider in the left corner. Now to Staley in the lane. She goes up for a shot, but she is fouled.
They're going to give her 2 shots. 2-shot foul.
So Staley to the line to shoot 2, and that foul goes against Johnson. That's going to be her first. So Lauren Staley, no, in and out for Staley. So far Fort Morgan 0 of 3 on free throws in the second half. Second shot is in. That one stayed in. Did about the same thing, except this one stayed in the basket. So Vista Peak gets the ball down court to Baker. Baker's little shot from the right is up and good. So Vista Peak on the board in the second half. 28-14, Fort Morgan, with 5:20 to go in the third period. Danielle Gross pass across to Staley. Staley drives it. Now she passes it out to Allie Schneider. Schneider drives in from the left and puts it in.
That's a good pass.
So Schneider now with 16 on the night, 6 here in the second half. Vista Peak gets the ball down court. Johnston with a little runner up and no good. Taken by Samantha Pettyjohn. Pettyjohn was looking for a minute, but Vista Peak closed too fast on Staley to get her the ball. So Allie Schneider in the right corner. She gets it into Alexis Bills. She passes it back out, taken back by Schneider. Now to Samantha Pettyjohn. Little runner down in to Alexis Bills. Her shot is up and good. So 2 there for Bills, but she is also going to go to the line to get 1. And that foul, I believe, was on number 25, Baker. So that will be her first. So Alexis Bills to the line to see if she can put one more point up on the board here. 32-14, Fort Morgan. So that free throw is up and good. So now Celia Smith's in for Alexis Bills. Fort Morgan with their full court press again. Kennedy with the ball down in the right corner. She's going to pass it over to Johnson. Johnson gets across half court. She's guarded by Pettyjohn. Now out to Kennedy. Kennedy out high. Now they try to get the ball underneath. That's taken by Pettyjohn. Pettyjohn trying to get the ball. She drives it into the lane. Now back out to Gross. And now out to Schneider for a 3. And that is in and out. Rebounded by Gross. Back to Schneider again. Schneider on the left. And she is going to be fouled. And that looks like that will be on number 22. That will be on number 22, Doherty. That will be 3 on her. So Allie Schneider to go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. So Schneider with toss number 1 is going to be up and no good. Central Auto Parts, for the best prices and special offers on top quality car parts and accessories. Visit Central Auto Parts at 1001 West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan.
Looks like Paul came in for Baker in exchange for Vista Peak.
So Schneider with shot number 2. That one does go in. So 17 points on the night for Schneider. 30. I don't believe they gave her the point yet. It should be 35, I believe. They did not put that last point up on the board. Ball to Vista Peak on the far side. They get the ball in to Kennedy. Kennedy now over to Doherty. Doherty back to Kennedy.
I thought they called it timeout because they didn't give him that point, but they called it. The ref called it for a foul on Pettyjohn for 2. 2 on Pettyjohn now.
So a backcourt foul now. We have a foul now on Vista Peak. So Fort Morgan inbounds the ball, and that.
Yeah, I have 34. 34-14 is the right.
So that foul was on Johnston, number 10. That is 3 for her. So now Pettyjohn with the ball. She picks up her dribble over to Gross, back over to Pettyjohn, down into Schneider, and then back out to Danielle Gross. And that was rebounded initially by Smith, but knocked out of her hands by Vista Peak. So now Samantha Scott to come in, and Christina Frick come in. Lauren Staley and Samantha Pettyjohn come out. Get the ball in, but it is stolen on the inbounds by Johnson. Johnson down the right sideline, and her shot is going to be up and high off the backboard, but no good. Rebounded to Smits. Smits now to Allie Schneider. So Schneider slows it down a little bit. She gets it over to Samantha Scott. Scott's pass over to Schneider. Schneider's pass underneath the Frick. That's going to be out of bounds off of Frick. Just couldn't quite get the handle on it. So 34-14 in favor of the Mustangs with 3:10 to go in the third period. Vista Peak bringing the ball up past half court. Pass cross court to Carter. Now the ball is going to be taken away by Frick. Nice hands there by Frick. Alexis Bills over to Samantha Scott. Samantha Scott back to Bills. That ball is going to be stolen by Doherty. Doherty down the lane, and her layup is going to be no good, but Alexis Bills there for the nice rebound. Nice hustle down for the rebound by Bills. So Bills now over to Danielle Gross on the left wing. Now over to Celia Smith at the free throw line. They're going to call a reach-in foul, and that's going to go against Doherty.
That'll be 4 on her.
So Miss Doherty will might be taking a seat here. She's already headed over to the bench, and we have I believe that's 24 that came in. Number 21, Alicia Roan, came in for her. Fort Morgan to get the ball in bounds. They do to Samantha Scott. Now pass to Bills. Her shot is up and no good. The rebounded to Vista Peak. Layup is no good by Vista Peak, and they're going to call a foul on the shot. That's going to go against Christina Frick. That will be her third. And number 30 to the line, and that is Johnson to shoot 2. So Johnson on the hustle play on the rebound, then her shot up and no good. Now her first shot on the free throw bounces all around and then back out. So her second shot is up and off the side of the rim and no good. Rebounded to Bills. Bills out to Danielle Gross. Gross walks it across half court, now over to Alexis Bills on the right wing. She dribbles it into the key, now back out to Gross. Now over to Samantha Scott. Scott to Frick. Frick to Samantha Scott. Bounce pass over to Danielle Gross. Ball is going to be taken away by Kennedy. And Kennedy is going to go up for a layup, and that is going to be good for Kennedy. So 34-16 in favor of the Mustangs with a minute 40 to go in the third period. Now Frick with the ball in the left corner. Ball to Samantha Scott, over to Danielle Gross, back to Scott. Scott to Smith. Smith from the free throw line. Her shot up and no good, but nice rebound by Alexis Bills. Alexis Bills passes it out to Smith. Smith's shot is no good. Rebounded now to Johnson for Vista Peak. Vista Peak now to call a timeout. Just a 30-second timeout, so Early Toyota East, whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Early Toyota East at 1209 Main Street in Fort Morgan will professionally fit you into the car or truck of your choice. Serving all of Northeast Colorado, Early Toyota East. Premier Farm Credit, committed to serving those in production ag. Premier Farm Credit, the gold standard in ag lending. Equitable Savings and Loan, Northeast Colorado's locally owned hometown savings and loan in Fort Morgan and Brush. Colorado Plains Medical Center, accidents or illness can strike at any time, day or night. When they do, every second counts. As a level 3 trauma center, Colorado Plains Medical Center is ready to handle any kind of emergency. Colorado Plains Medical Center brings quality care to our community. So now Vista Peak, the inbounds far side.
Mustang defense doing pretty good. It's holding Johnson and Doherty to 3 points for the whole game, and they're the two leading scorers for Vista Peak.
So Vista Peak, now they're going to have a foul called. That probably will go against Samantha Scott, I believe. No, they called that against Alexis Bills, I believe, 33.
That's her
Be
first
her
of the game.
first. 4 team fouls on Fort Morgan, 6 on the Bison. So the Bison with the ball. They pick their dribble up out on the right wing. Now back over to Kennedy out high, guarded by Scott. Shot up and out by Vista Peak. Rebounded to Fort Morgan. Allie Schneider with the ball. She brings it across half court. Now a pass down court to Smith. Smith's little layup from the left is good. So the first points on the night for Smiths, 36-16 with 38 seconds to go. Temporarily stolen by Fort Morgan, then back to Vista Peak. So 30 seconds to go in the third period, Vista Peak loses it out of bounds. So ball to Fort Morgan. Allie Schneider to inbounds, back court far side. She gets it into Samantha Pettyjohn with 25 seconds to go in the third period. Now Alexis Bills. Her little shot is up and no good. Rebounded by Aaliyah Carter, but stolen away by Alexis Bills. And Bills' shot from the right wing is up and good. So 38-16 with 7 seconds to go in the third period. Now a little two-point shot now by Elia Carter is good to end the third period. So at the end of the third period, the Lady Mustangs 38, the Lady Bisons 16. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, where we believe the score should be 38-18. They have not put the extra points up for Vista Peak. The Fort Morgan with the lead to start the fourth period. They haven't said anything from the Vista Peak bench yet. I'm not sure why. I think they'd want all the points that they could get. Ball into Fort Morgan. Allie Schneider out at the right wing above the three-point circle. Now she gets it into Alexis Bills. Alexis Bills' little jumper is no good, but the ball comes right back to her. Now pass to Allie Schneider. Schneider's little jumper is up and no good. Now Schneider, they're going to call a jump ball, so that will go to Vista Peak. So Vista Peak, the inbounds in the Morgan into the court. Fort Morgan has backed off on any type of press. So now Kennedy with the ball. She gets it over to Roan. Roan down the right sideline. Picks up her dribble back out to Kennedy. Kennedy at the top of the key back over to Carter. Now underneath. Now a three up and no good by Kennedy. Rebounding the ball is Vista Peak, but the shot is up and no good. But there is going to be a foul. And that foul is going to go against Schneider. It's going to be 4 on her. So to the line for Vista Peak is number 24, Carter, so she will shoot 2. 38, still have it 38-16, but I believe they're still wrong on their score. First shot is up and just grazes the front of the rim and no good. So now Danielle Gross and Lauren Staley into the game for Allie Schneider and Samantha Scott. So Schneider will take a seat for a little bit with 4 fouls with just a little over 7 minutes to go in the game. Really no need to have her in there right now. Second shot rolls around and good. So 38-17 they have it now. So Fort Morgan with the ball in the front court. Shot is up and good. I believe that was Staley. So Vista Peak now with the ball in their front into the court. So Roan, they're going to call an offensive foul on Vista Peak. I believe they called that on number 23.
Yeah, it looked like it was 23 for pushing
Jungheim.
off.
So Jungheim with her second. So Fort Morgan now with the ball in their back court. Pettyjohn to Lauren Staley in the right corner. Lauren Staley cross court pass to Gross. Gross's little 10-footer is good from the left wing. So four points on the night for Gross. 42-19. They finally got the other
points up there finally.
Points up there. Now Vista Peak out high to Kennedy. Kennedy over on the far sideline to Carter. Carter keeps the ball alive. Now back to Kennedy. Kennedy being guarded by Gross. Now over to Doherty. Doherty being guarded by Samantha Pettyjohn. And she tries to drive the baseline and she cuts her off. Now back out to Johnson. Back out to Kennedy in the corner. And that three is up and no good. Rebounded by number 25, Kylie Baker. So Baker with 2. 42-21 in favor of the Mustangs with 5.5 minutes to go in the game. Samantha Pettyjohn, her pass into Alexis Bills. Nice shot by Bills. Little 2-pointer there from the free throw line. 44-21 in favor of the Mustangs with 5:10 to go in the game. Vista Peak now with the ball in their end of the court. Johnson passes it back out to Carter. Carter's three was up and no good. Rebounded to Lauren Staley. Lauren Staley to Alexis Bills. Bills crossed half court. Bills pulls up. She keeps the dribble alive. Now a little runner from the left, and that is up and no good. That ball, they're going to say, is off of Vista Peak. It looked like Lauren Staley might have knocked it out, but they're going to give that to Vista Peak. So Lauren Staley to take a seat. Allie Schneider back into the game with 4:48 to go. Mustangs leading 44-21. Ball into Alexis Bills. Bills to Snyder. Snyder's little layup from the right is up and no good. Schneider gets her own rebound, and she puts it up this time from the left, and that is good for Schneider. So 46-21 in favor of the Mustangs with 4.5 minutes to go in the game. Pass over to Doherty. Doherty now brings it back out to center court. She dribbles down the right side, now over to Carter. Carter now, little shot is up and good by Kennedy. So that's 5 points on the night for Kennedy. Fort Morgan now leading 46-23 with 4 minutes to go in the game. Schneider now over to Danielle Gross on the left wing, back out to Snyder for a three. She's going to pop a three, and that was off the side of the rim and no good. Rebounded to Baker. Now it's going to be taken away. See if they call a foul, if they're going to call a jump ball. Nice hustle by Alexis Bills. So the jump ball will go to Fort Morgan. So nice aggressive play there by Alexis. Snyder to inbounds on the far sideline. Gets it into Pettyjohn. Pettyjohn now over to Snyder on the right wing. Now underneath to Smith. Smith's shot is blocked. Taken by Vista Peak. Vista Peak cross half court over to Kennedy. Kennedy dribbling along the top of the key now over to the left. Now she passes it into the... Tries to get it into a cutter down the lane, but they must have called a kick ball.
They got Snyder for kicking the ball.
So now they're trying to get the Vista Peak boys to settle down over on the far sideline. They're kind of getting out onto the court. So now Vista Peak with the ball. They have a push foul. That's going against Allie Schneider, I believe. I think she just fouled out of the game.
Yeah, it's number 5 on Schneider.
So Schneider will have to take a seat. It was not a shooting foul. So here comes...
She fouls out with 19 points on the night.
Here comes the second team for Fort Morgan.
It's a pretty good effort for Snyder for tonight.
Now we're going to have to look up some numbers here and see who just came in. So a shot by Vista Peak up and no good. Christina Frick is in. Kinsey Winsheimer is in. Lauren Staley is still in. Layup is good by Vista Peak, and that is good by Johnson.
Her first points of the second half.
So 46-25 in favor of Fort Morgan. Now the ball is going to be thrown away underneath, and then Vista Peak is going to return the favor. So the ball will stay with Fort Morgan. So we're going to figure out who Fort Morgan has in here. We have a number 44 for the girls, and I am not sure who that is. Excuse me. So I know we have Kinsey Winsheimer, Serena Wells, Christina Frick, and Lauren Staley in the game. So Lauren Staley cuts to the right wing and puts it up and in for Staley. So nice shot by Staley, 48-25 in favor of Fort Morgan with 2:38 to go in the game. So I'm sorry, I do not know who number 44 is for the Mustangs, but Vista Peak now with the ball. Ball had a foul, and that is going to go against Frick. That will be 4 on her. That should be a 1-and-1 now. Number 32 to the line for for Vista Peak.
That's going to be Coincian.
They're Coincian, a 10th grader. Her first shot up and no good. They're going to call a jump ball, and that will go to Vista Peak. So the ball shot up and no good by Vista Peak. Rebounded to Fort Morgan. So Kinsey Winsheimer, she gets it down to Lauren Staley. Lauren Staley with a nice little move into the lane. Up and good for Staley. So that's 6 points in the period just alone for Staley. 50-23 now, Fort Morgan. So now Kennedy down the lane, but they're going to call a foul on Fort Morgan. And that is going to go against Kinsey Winsheimer. So she gets her name in the stats book, not for the best of reasons, but she was in there hustling anyway. Now, of course, the shot is up and no good. Now ball down to Winsheimer. Nice little block there into the corner to Serena Wells. Serena Wells is shot up and no good. Staley hustles. She gets it. They're going to call a jump ball. That ball will go to Vista Peak. So now Samantha Scott in for Frick. They're going to have a just have a problem with something at the scorer's table. They have one of the refs is over there. I'm not sure just what their discrepancy might be. So Fort Morgan with the big lead, 50-23, with a minute 48 to go in the game. Now we're going to get Kinsey Winsheimer to inbounds the ball left of the Fort Morgan basket. 18 fouls on Fort Morgan, 7 on the Bison. Ball into Serena Wells. Serena Wells' shot is up and no good, but rebounded by Kinsey Winsheimer. Nice rebound. Now Samantha Scott with a shot, and that is up and good for Scott. Nice two-handed jump shot there by Scott. So 52-23 with a minute 30 to go in the game. Now Vista Peak, little shot from the right is no good. Rebounded by number 44 for the Mustangs. Now off to Kinsey Winsheimer. Winsheimer gets it across half court. She'll get it off to Serena Wells. Serena Wells over to Samantha Scott in the right corner. Now back out to Lauren Staley at the free throw line. Over to Kinsey Winsheimer from the left. Shot up and no good. Taken by Kennedy of the Bison. With 1 minute to go in the game. 52-23 Fort Morgan. Now back out to Kennedy. Out high. Almost taken away by Staley. And now they're going to call a foul probably on Staley. And that will be 3 on Lauren Staley. So that'll be a 1-and-1. Now Christina Frick in for Staley. So that is 3 fouls on Staley. So number 15 goes to the line for Emma Fafita, to the line for the Bison. Her first action of the night. Her first shot is up and no good. Fort Morgan with the rebound with 48 seconds to go in the game. Kinsey Winsheimer picks up her dribble. Now over to Christina Frick in the right corner. Now into number 44, back to Frick. Now out to Winsheimer. Winsheimer into Samantha Scott at the free throw line. Now over to number 44 from the left. Her shot is up and good. So that is 2 points for her. We'll have to try and get her name. So 22 seconds to go, 54-23, taken away by the Mustangs. Samantha Scott down the middle of the lane. She gets it off to Serena Wells. Serena Wells back out to Winsheimer. Winsheimer up for a 3 off the back of the rim and no good. Rebounded to Christina Frick. Frick's shot is up and over the rim and no good. Rebounded by Serena Wells. Shot is up and good by Winsheimer at the buzzer. So the Lady Mustangs with a big win here, 56-23 over the Lady Bison. We will take a 3-minute timeout and be back with the post-game show. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School at the end of the Lady Mustangs basketball game. The Lady Mustangs with a big victory, 56-23. So that puts Fort Morgan 11-11 on the season. And right now they're having senior night or parents' night, I believe, for the cheerleaders. So a little bit of activity going on here before the start of the boys' game. But for the Bison, their scoring, I have Baker with 6, Johnson with 5, Kennedy with 5, Doherty with 3, Carter with 3, Paul with 2. And for Fort Morgan, I have the leading scorer down Schneider with 19, Staley with 10, Bills with 13, Gross with 2, Scott with 2, Winsheimer with 2, Frick with 2, Smiths with 2. And we're going to see if we can get a name here. And Lindsay Nestor was the number 44, and she also had 2 on the night. I think a couple of the girls walking by up here gave us the name of the Nestor girl. So
yeah, they came by and gave us a good name for her. We want to give her credit where credit's due. Turnovers for tonight, the Mustangs had 17, the opponents had 14. And in the rebounding, the Mustangs had 39 rebounds. It's a good night of rebounding for the Mustang girls. And the Bison had 22. Leading for the rebounds for the Bisons, I had Kennedy with 6, Johnson with 7, and I had Baker with 4, Carter with 3, and then I had Doherty with 1 and Roan with 1. And for the Lady Mustangs for rebounding, it was a good night. Good night for Schneider with 7 and Bills with 7. And then we had Pettyjohn with 6. Then we had Staley with 4, Frick and Smits with 3, Gross with 4, Wells with 1, Windheimer with 2, and Nestor with 2. The rebounding per game, they're averaging about 23 rebounds per game, so they almost doubled them up tonight. And if they can get rebounding like that in the next game, there should be no problem with coming out with a big W and getting a good seed coming into next Tuesday night's game.
So this Mustangs postgame show is brought to you by High Plains Bank and Wiggins. The friendly staff at High Plains Bank and Wiggins is ready to assist you with a home loan, equity line of credit, commercial loan, or checking account. To receive hometown service on a higher plane, visit High Plains Bank today. So next up for the Fort Morgan girls will be Thursday night. It is a Thursday night game at Skyview, and that will be a 7 o'clock tip. Next up for the boys, they do have the game here next with Vista Peak, and they're going to need both these games to try to get into the playoffs. But then their next game after tonight will also be Thursday. That will be at home against Skyview at 7 o'clock, and we will have that game here on B106 and B106.com. So we will take a 3-minute break and be back with some more information on the boys basketball game to come up here on B106 and B106.com.